the Windstorm with the Windblade does a ton of damage in a very constrained space. And if Execration find that fight, they could possibly just overpower Blacklist International. Here it is, the first matchup in the grand finals. Remember, this is a best of 7.
Yes, and I'm going to use, extra standard, thing to open up. It's going to be the best of 7 first game. Alright, let's go!
Well, don't you love it?
I'm out. Yeah.
Alright.
Well, for real, I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, I don't have to say it again, but let's open up the portal, and I'm gonna leave off the microphone over to Selfridge Miss and Aris.
Here we are going to go into the Land of Dawn shortly, and if I'm not wrong, Execration actually drafted the Benedetta as core. So it's going to be a jungler Benedetta.
Yep, and that's why we see the Franco getting banned out. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, a repeat of the MPL PDH finals. I can't stress how much times we've said that now, and looks like we are indeed going to be seeing the jungler that is played by CalvJ on this Benedetta. Well, the lane matchups are pretty much set up. It is going to be OHAP on this Lunox up against a Farsa on the side lane. We do see Execration putting a bit of importance in the mid lane. They want to get a good early game for CalvJ, but Chaknu taking one too much damage. They're trying to bring down this Koopa so that Oh My Venus will be left to try to revive it in some sense in a couple of seconds. That being said, top lane, Digi immediately rotating onto Lunox. We spoke about this before. Oh My Venus loves to babysit the goal lane and make sure that whoever OHAP is playing on, that they get an early game advantage.
I love this kind of meta coming in from Blacklist International with Oh My Venus playing that Diggy as a kind of a babysitting. He's always babysitting onto OHAP and always helping OHAP in the earlier stages.
Yeah, Execution now facing a little bit of aggression in the jungle. Blacklist International walking straight in. It's gonna reveal where E2 Max is. Chakdu trying to fend him off the holy killing, or rather the holy baptism. It looks like Blacklist International will not worry about that too much. They just want to get a bit of a poke damage coming in. Kiara is going to go back to the top lane. Chaknu this time around taking one more shot from the Auto Alarm Bomb before Blacklist International retreat back into the safety of their half.
Yep, and like we said, surprisingly, it's not going to be Oh My Venus this time. Onto that DK cell is going to be OHAP, and that is a first blood onto OHAP, but he doesn't really care. He is just a Diggy, and he is just going to get spawned right away. It's going to be on the top lane onto the Lunox, and it's going to be an offlane Farsa.
Yep, 2 minutes in, Turtle has already spawned Edward here, just scattering around, spots out Renzo who uses split. I think Ilson is going to go down really quickly. Shadow Marriage comes up, they might be able to pick up a kill on the CalvJ. The traps are working out, and they do manage to find a pick off onto the Veil, who wasn't able to contribute much onto the team fight. But now Edward dropping down to quarter of HP. Renzo, if he really wants to pressure this lane, he will be in the fight. But look at top lane, the mage, the battle of the mages, and unfortunately, Kiara didn't have enough damage in the Feather Airstrike. It is going to be OHAP that picks up a 1v1 kill against that Fairy Bird.
1 HP! 1 HP! I mean, wow, I feel that that's definitely gonna be so tilting for the Farsa, but slowly but surely, right now in the off-lane position itself is a 1v2, but I don't think that this glue is going to sustain, and he's just going to regen from his ultimate.
Yeah, and that's what you bring on board when you pick up the glue. Such an irritating side laner, a really good tanker as well at soaking the damage. And it's so irritating to deal with. Like, imagine, right, a glue that you think that you're gonna bring down, he uses split, and then he turns the entire fight around, sticks onto you, and now you are the one being aggressed on. But Blacklist International, they don't care too much. Edward going to be overstanding a little bit by cutting away the waves. Here comes Chaknu as well as E2 Max, but Edward knows that he will back off to his own lane.
Yeah, Veil coming up with the ultimate, trying to catch on to the Popo, and Kuba did not manage to connect, as Oh My Venus onto the Popo, and Kuba is just gonna escape freely on that. And that really, helps potentially for the side of Blacklist International to scale, especially they know that the Veil does not have an ultimate for at least, I think, 30 seconds at this point, because we are at the earlier stages of the game.
Yeah, no cooldown items coming on online just yet. Meanwhile, Blacklist International is still doing pretty decently. It's a very close game, right? You can definitely sense that. But Blacklist International still leading by 1k in terms of goal. We do see a turtle coming up in about 7 seconds. Chuck New trying to find members. Oh, it's going to reveal where Ethan is, but Edward coming into knockout punch will chase Chuck New away from that brush. I would presume that Blacklist International want to drag the turtle onto their side, but looks like E2 Max will be the one that is forced to pull that flicker out. Meanwhile, we do see a bit of a rotation coming in. Farsa now coming down to the bottom lane. Wise in a little bit of trouble, but doesn't matter. The reverse journey, or rather reverse journey, is there to keep himself alive. Kelvj being caught up in a very bad fight. The rest of Execration already down low, and they can't contest for this turtle, and they also lose their jungle. That is a good pick off by Blacklist International.
Yep, and a really good reverse time journey coming in from Digi, just pulling back the Farsa, and the Farsa cannot join any fight, and he's forced to actually use to fly away, and that really bought a lot of time for Blacklist International. And look at that, just like that, the goal lead itself is a 2k goal lead to Blacklist International. And on the top side itself, Farsa being aimed, and a backup coming in from Oh My Venus, but Edward with the knockout punch is going to get Oh My Venus to pay the price.
Yeah, well, it is going to be Chuck Nu that falls Kelra. A little bit lucky there with the wings by wings. Now we do see Wise clearing up the mid lane. They are going to be focusing onto the bottom lane once more, as Turtle is about to spawn in a minute. But the interesting strategy comes with Execration, right? Because you see Farsa struggling against the Lunox onto the top side, and with that they immediately switch the glue back onto top with Farsa at the bottom. That being said, Blacklist International, they're not going to care too much. They still managed to take the tier 1 down the bot lane. We do see Edward coming in. The Feather Eye Strike comes up. Blacklist International is forced to go back, but they wouldn't mind because they didn't lose anything there. In fact, I do think they did manage to steal away the blue buff from Kelvj. Look at that. The Shattered Memory is just causing so much damage onto the back line. And Oh My Venus overextending a little bit. Here comes Edward. They try to pick up the kill onto the Benedetta, but it is going to be Edward that gets picked off instead.
Yeah, over aggression coming in from Alan, but so far in the top lane itself, this Glue and this Lunox has been dating in the top lane for quite some time, and finally backup coming in from the team members from Blacklist is able to down this top tower, and this will potentially help Lunox to, you know, open up the map. And Ultimate coming in from Bill, he wants to kill off Oh My Venus, but not this time. No, My Venus is not going to go down just yet.
Blacklist International managing the time to really well, but with the siege onto the first tier turret on the top side, Execration do find that pocket of space to push down the turret on the opposite lane. Now, with Turtle up, Blacklist International will definitely be looking to secure this one for themselves. Execration, they know of it, but I don't think they're going to contest, because look at that. Blacklist International leading in terms of net worth, leading in terms of map control. If Execution goes in here, it will feel like a desperate attempt to just steal away a turtle, and that might result in them giving away more silly kills.
Yeah, but I feel that the way Execration drafted, they have two majors composition, which is going to be, you know, magical damage, but they do not have anyone in the front line, and these two majors, especially for Veil, is extremely squishy.
Yep.
And I think that you have to give Veil time for the items to start to really kind of build up before he reaches power spike. And having that said, in the top lane is Edward rotating again back onto the top lane, is going in for Glue, but Split will help Glue to regen back his health. But you look at Blacklist International, they're camping in the bushes, they want to target our red, but not this time. And finally, as we said, the Veil's ultimate connects and will bring down Blacklist International.
Yeah, a bit of a wasted rotation coming out for Blacklist International. Execution doing a very good job. I think they knew that the three members on South Blacklist International were looking for a gank, and like you said, the split keeps Renzo up and healthy, and so Execution, they managed to pick off not only the Lunox, but nearly brought down the first tier turret. Quick rotation for Blacklist International will shoo them away, but Execution already making their way towards the bottom lane.
Yep, and just a bit of a game pause. We'll be right back into the game. I was so focused on the game. I'm like, what happened? Bring me back to the game!
Yeah, and it's quite exciting up to now, right? Both teams finding very, very decent pickoffs on every side of the lane. But I think the focus would be for Blacklist International to stay they'll keep a more focused mind. You saw them make a couple of rotations which were quite questionable. Yes, they are still in the lead, but the next big team fight is going to be that Lord, the 9 minutes mark when the Lord spawns. And I get the sense that as much time as they need of both the Veil and the Farsa to pick up items, I don't think Blacklist International will let that happen. You really see them putting a lot of pressure, not only on the side lanes, but making sure that Popo and Koopa spots out any members of Execration even before they come close to those objectives.
Yeah, and I really like how Blacklist International drafted, and interestingly you notice the Diggy. Yesterday we saw that Oh My Venus, she took the Magic Money emblem, but this time round the Diggy is actually playing on the support cooldown emblem instead. So this Diggy will be able to, kind of spawn back earlier into team fights than the Magic Money emblem. But right now a team fight coming into the mid lane itself. Execration just holding on to that mid tower. They do not want that mid tower to actually crack open.
Yeah, they're counting a lot on the side of Chaknu to use the Light of Retribution to spot out where members of Blacklist International are. But at the same time, once he gets in range to use the skill, Blacklist International, they can look to, kind of just engage back into the fight, try to catch that Rafaela out. Well, we do see a Feather Airstrike coming for Execration. That is going to be a huge ultimate on cooldown for the next 20 seconds, which means Blacklist International, if they want, I think they can force a lot take here. Maybe try to lure Execration into a bad team fight. And speaking about luring, Eason, he does bait out the Windstorm. Once again, another huge CC being used for nothing. And Execration just wasting a lot of these huge ultimates that they need for huge team fights. Now Renzo forced to use split, while the rest of Execration will have to split up because Blacklist International is already split pushing onto top lane with Edward making quick work of that tier 2.
Yep, and the war is being started as we speak. Edward just pushing onto the top lane. He doesn't care about the group. He wants to crack open that top lane. But as you can see, the team fight is kind of all over the place. We have most of the team members from Blacklist International and Execration just into the team fight at the Lord Pit itself. And Farsa with the Feather Airstrike. Ooh, the damage coming in from Blacklist, just going to get 2 members of Execration. And that is going to be a free lot to Blacklist International.
Yeah, that Order of the Brilliance coming out from OHAB, just catching both Kiara and Claire of J. That was a bit of a misplay coming out from Execration, getting caught out, thinking that they could burst down members of Blacklist International with a Feather Airstrike, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. So Vice with the broken memories alongside with the Order of the Brilliance just proved too much for Execration to handle. And now it looks like Blacklist International, they want to make quick work of game 1. They don't want to spend too much time to wait for Execration to find those pickups that they need to come back into this game.
Blacklist International with a marksman. They have the Brody, but you can see on the side of Execration they have an Assassin Benedetta, and that is going to really help Blacklist International in pushing out the lane itself. And Eason being caught by members of Execration. Edward coming in is going to get to CalVJ, who is playing onto the Benedetta. The Lord itself, meanwhile, is going to slowly jog down in the bottom lane, but it doesn't really matter. 4 members of Blacklist International pushing into the top lane itself. Brody with the ultimate. That is so much damage coming in, and Execration are forced back into the bases.
Yeah, Execration, just trying to hang on, trying to clear Crypts out, but Lord is going to come in from the bottom side. The Feather Airstrike comes up, Chaknu dropping very low, will try to survive, but Edward comes in with the knockout punch and the flicker as well to pick up the kill. And now Renzo might just go down. The Shattered Memories is more than enough damage. Wise running to town in Execration base. The Lord still down to a quarter of HP. Kalra just trying to bring it down as quick as possible, but without any of the cores of Execration online, Blacklist International will walk away with game 1.
A convincing game 1 for Blacklist International. Smooth, and it was so on time. I mean, they only essentially got a lot uncontested 9 minutes. Lord and cracks open the mid lane, cracks open the bottom lane with the Lord, and with that, Blacklist International takes game 1.